regardless of their poor acts, regardless of their behavior that they are ultimately responsible for, that is ultimately in their control. They're probably acting out of a lot of fears. They're probably having these needs that are based on fears. And so we want to be compassionate to those people that are ignorant. We want to be compassionate to those people that are not living a mindful life, because you can imagine what experiences they've been through in their life. I might not agree with their behavior, but it doesn't mean that I void them of my compassion. Same for me, okay? If you're somebody who is so compassionate to other people, but you lack compassion with yourself, okay? So this is what I mean. You gotta have some self-compassion and recognize, damn, I've been through a lot. I've really gone through a lot in this life. A lot of things have happened to me. Let me show myself some compassion. When you get good at showing yourself compassion, then the compassion that you give to others is even more authentic. Because trying to be compassionate with others when you don't show that to yourself is inauthentic. You don't really know what compassion really is unless you can give it to yourself. This other emotion of acceptance, okay? Non-judgmental attitude. These things go hand in hand. You can't be compassionate with yourself if you're not accepting of yourself. And gratitude, focusing on your positive aspects. If you're constantly just thinking about all the negative things about people, all the things that you don't like about someone. I hate when you do this, I hate when you do that, I hate when you don't do your chores, and you don't put away your dishes, and you don't clean up after yourself, and you criticize me all the time, and you do this, and you do that. Oh my goodness. How's that making you feel over there? And what do you think is going to happen? What are you going to do? Well, it sounds like you're being a big complainer about things. And is that way of thinking about people negatively? Is that giving you a productive life? No, it's probably keeping you stuck. And I'm sure other people don't like hearing those things. The reactions when you complain to other people is not going to go well. Although there are some people out there that love it. Join the pity party. Join the gossip groups. Okay? You're going to stay stuck with those people. You'll stay stuck with those people. So focusing on the positive aspects of other people. Focusing on the positive traits about yourself. Okay, if I'm just out here thinking negatively about myself all the time, what do you think I'm going to end up doing? I'm probably going to be meeting a whole lot of needs out of my fears instead of my needs out of love. Okay, instead of my needs out of love. Where there is fear, there cannot be love. Where there is fear, there cannot be love. Love and fear don't live together. They're in different houses. So which one do you want to live in? And are you going to meet your needs from a place of fear? Or are you going to meet your needs from a place of love and compassion and acceptance and gratitude? That will create this balance for you. Okay, so there might be some things that we do that sometimes get us stuck. Okay, so what did I think about that? That got me stuck. That's keeping me stuck. What do I think about that? That makes me think that maybe I'm gonna have to do something different. Okay, what do I think I'm gonna do different? I'm gonna take a different approach. I'm gonna communicate from a place of love instead of a place of fear. And then I do that. Oh, look at that. That resulted in some progress. Cool. That resulted in some productivity. I got somewhere that time. And then maybe I go through some other experience in life and it brings me to a stuck place. Okay, what happened there? What information is this giving me? What are my thoughts about what happened? Am I gonna come to it from a place of compassion, acceptance, gratitude, so that I can have balance in life? You know, we're not always gonna our results are not always going to be positive. Sometimes we're gonna do some fucked up shit. Sometimes we're gonna do some things like, wow, that didn't get me anywhere. But that's life. That's the balance. That's the contrast. We have to experience contrast. We have to experience this fear to know what love feels like. We have to experience love to know what fear feels like. We have to experience shame so we know what compassion feels like. We have to experience guilt and judgment so we know what non-judgment and acceptance looks like. We have to experience anger so we can experience gratitude. We have to experience what it feels like to be super attached to something so that I can understand what it feels like to have balance. So you have to experience all of this in life so that you can experience the opposite end. I have to experience sadness so that I know what happiness feels like. I have to experience frustration so that I know what satisfaction feels like. So when you're feeling certain emotions like this, don't push it away. Come at it with compassion, acceptance, and gratitude. Come at it with compassion, acceptance, and gratitude. You know, Louise Hay has this wonderful quote. She says, "I do not fix problems. I fix my thinking. And then the problems fix themselves." So sometimes things that we think are a problem, if we can open up our minds, sometimes to radical acceptance, we can open up our mind to think differently so that I can feel differently about it. Then maybe my behavior that I'm responsible for might change. And maybe I can be a positive role model to that person. And that person changes because they want to, not because I told them to. People don't change because other people tell you to change. People change because they want to intrinsically do that for themselves. If somebody is changing a behavior of theirs because you told them to, it's very unlikely that it's going to be very long-lived. They're just doing that to buy themselves some time. They'll change their behavior for a little while just to give you lip service, and then they'll revert back to their old behavior. Because people have to change because they want to. Long-lasting change isn't effective if it's because somebody's told you to change. Why are you changing? Well, because so-and-so told me I had to, or they were going to leave the relationship if I didn't change. So I guess I better change so that I can keep this person in my life. That's so unhealthy. Somebody is bringing something to my attention, and I'm going to change not because they want me to change. I'm going to change because I want to do that, because I value the relationship on a different level. You see how that works, how that's different? This is the magic. And the magic word here. Can somebody tell me, of all the words that are here, okay, of all the words that you're seeing on this screen right now, which is the one that's the most meaningful for you? Which is the one that stands out for you the most, that you're gonna like meditate on? I'll tell you the word that stands out the most for me, that nobody's mentioned here. Okay, we've got compassion, we've got progress, we've got compassion and balance, attachment, gratitude, thoughts, need, love. All of those things that you said, all of these things that you've mentioned, they're your responsibility. This is the word here. Being responsible for yourself. Being responsible for your compassion. Being responsible for accepting. Being responsible for this act of gratitude. Being responsible to bring yourself into balance. Being responsible for your results. Not being responsible for the reaction of others, though. That's not your responsibility. Not being responsible for other people's behavior. That's not your responsibility. Your behavior is, your thoughts is, your feelings is your responsibility. So there's all sorts of things that happen to us from the outside of us. Outside of us, there's all these things that are going on outside of us. That's not in our control. It's not our responsibility, that we can't change. But how am I going to think about it? How am I going to think about all those things? How am I going to feel about all those things? What's my response to all those things going to be? Okay. I got in trouble for caring for others and not caring for me. Yeah, that's the result. You stayed stuck, right? And you're probably caring for others out of a fear instead of caring for others out of a real pure love. Because if you don't have that pure love inside yourself, you can't purely give it to others. It's manipulation because you're acting out of a state of fear. Yeah. And don't say you got in trouble. You know what I mean? It's like you're a little kid. It's like, Dad, caring for others before you care for yourself. Yeah, that's your thoughts about your behavior. You got in trouble. And the fear of not being accepted. Yeah. But you got to accept yourself. If you can accept yourself and you have that self-acceptance, then it doesn't matter if other people accept me. It's okay that they don't accept me because I accept myself already. Those who do accept me, those are my people. Those who don't accept me, it's okay, you're allowed. You're allowed to not accept me. I don't have to be accepted by everybody. It's actually not realistic to think that everybody's going to accept me because everybody's got their own little things. Everybody's got their own little thoughts and feelings and behaviors going on. It's like we're our own little systems out here. And then when we interact with each other, how do we interact? Are we interacting with each other out of this fear? Or are we interacting each other from pure love and compassion and acceptance and gratitude and balance? Or are we interacting with each other out of shame, guilt, anger, and attachment? This is hard work, guys. I'm not saying that changing your thinking is easy. Remember, 95% of our thinking is subconscious. That 95% of our brain is subconscious. We have to get into that 5% of our conscious brain so we can start to reprogram those thoughts. We can start to rewrite those programs. Yeah? And we have up to 70,000 thoughts a day. 70,000 thoughts a day we have. And most of them are negative and most of them are repetitive. So we have to start to become more conscious thinkers, responding in a conscious way instead of reacting from our subconscious programs. This is not easy to do. If you want to find out more, okay, freetobeYoucoaching.com. This is where you can find me. You can also find me on Instagram. If you want to make these changes, because the thinking, our thoughts, our cognition is a complex thing. It's like a little computer that we got going on up there that's filled with so much junk from all these years that you've been living. And remember, that brain is primarily programmed in our first 7 years of life. Okay, so those first 7 years of life really set the stage. And unless we became more conscious of those thoughts and those beliefs that are leading us to that behavior that's keeping us stuck in life, trying to change your thinking is a complex thing because the brain is a complex being. But the way I will coach you is going to make it very straightforward, very straightforward. And I will coach you and I will mentor you and I will take you through the whole model that I use to help people transform their life and evolve as a species so that they get out of this stuckness and get into making progress.